Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about power. Real power, the kind that doesn't come from weapons or missiles or political games. No, true power comes from within. It comes from the moment you decide to rise, to own your story, to transform your weaknesses into your greatest strengths. Now, you might be wondering, why am I talking about Turkey gifting missiles to Donald Trump? Well, it's more than just a headline. It's a metaphor for life, because sometimes life will hand you weapons, unexpected opportunities, challenges, gifts that you didn't ask for, but they come knocking anyway. The question is, what will you do with them? Will you fire them off in anger? Will you hide them away, afraid of their power? Or will you use them to break down the walls that have held you back for so long? Picture this, a world where leaders hold not just power in their hands, but the power of choice, the power of courage, and the power of vision. Turkey's new move, a missile gifted, a weapon of strength, symbolizes a shift, a change in the game. But it's not the missile that makes the man, it's the man who holds the missile that defines the future. You see, the missile is nothing without the one who controls it. Just like your dreams, your ambitions, they're gifts, yes, but gifts that require your hands to steer them, your mind to guide them, and your heart to believe in them. Now, life will throw challenges at you faster than you can blink. Sometimes those challenges will feel like missiles aimed directly at your confidence, your hope, your very soul. But remember, it's not about avoiding the missile, it's about mastering it. It's about becoming so skilled, so disciplined, that no missile can shake your foundation. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what leadership is all about. It's about standing tall when everyone expects you to fall. It's about being the calm in the storm, the light in the darkness, the voice that says, I will not be defeated. I want you to think of your life as a battlefield, not of guns and missiles, but of choices and mindset. Each day you are handed weapons, determination, resilience, faith. Turkey gifted a missile to Trump. Sure, but what did Trump do with that missile? Did he let it control him? Or did he use it as a symbol of strength, a message to the world that he's ready to face what's next? You have that power too, but here's the twist. The true missile, the one that can change your life forever, isn't a weapon, it's an idea, a belief, the unwavering conviction that no matter where you come from, no matter what your past holds, you can rise, you can fight, you can win. This script, this story, is about embracing that power inside you. The power to rewrite your story, to overcome the impossible, to turn every obstacle into a stepping stone. Now imagine for a moment a world where Turkey's missile gift wasn't just a weapon, but a symbol of alliance, trust, and unexpected partnerships. Life works that way too. Sometimes your greatest breakthroughs come disguised as challenges or strange gifts from unexpected places. You might feel powerless now. You might be standing at the crossroads, staring down your own missiles, wondering if you can make it through. But I promise you, this inside you is the strength to not just survive, but to thrive. You have to own your power. You have to take those missiles life throws your way, and instead of seeing them as threats, see them as your arsenal to build your empire. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just a story about politics or weapons. This is a story about you, about your power to transform, to rise, to lead. The missiles are coming, the challenges are coming, but so is your moment to stand up, take control, and become the leader of your own destiny. So what will you do when life gifts you your missile? Will you stand still, or will you rise and fire back at every doubt, every fear, every obstacle? The choice is yours, the power is yours, the time is now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think the story ends with the missile being gifted, you're missing the point entirely. The real story begins the moment the missile lands in your hands, because that's when the true test starts. The test of character, will, and vision. It's easy to be handed power, easy to receive opportunity, but it takes a man or a woman of substance to decide what to do next. You see, in life, opportunities rarely come wrapped in ribbons or written in bright letters. Most of the time, they come cloaked in doubt, in fear, in uncertainty. Sometimes they come disguised as failures or setbacks. And just like Donald Trump faced the unexpected gift from Turkey, you too will face moments when life thrusts you into the arena, armed with nothing but your courage and a weapon that you must learn to wield. And this is the suspense, the edge of your seat moment, because you never know how the story will end until you decide to write it. Will you be the person who lets fear control you, who lets that missile fall to the ground, unused, wasted, forgotten? Or will you be the person who says, this is my moment. I will turn this missile into a message that I am not defined by my circumstances, but by how I rise above them. I want you to understand something crucial here. Every missile, every weapon, every challenge life gives you is an invitation to greatness. It's a call to arms, not of violence, but of determination, of resilience, of relentless pursuit of your dreams. Because true power isn't about what you hold in your hands, it's about what you hold in your heart and mind. Think about it. Turkey's gift was unexpected, controversial, maybe even alarming to some. But to Trump, it was an opportunity, a chance to show the world that he was a force to be reckoned with. And that, my friends, is the same opportunity you have every single day to show the world that no matter what you've been given, no matter what hand you've been dealt, you have the power to make something incredible out of it. But here's the catch, and here's the suspense that keeps the story alive. You don't always get to choose the gift. Sometimes life hands you struggles. Sometimes it hands you pain. Sometimes it hands you what looks like defeat. But you always get to choose what to do next. That choice, that decision is where your true power lies. It's the difference between a man who complains about the missile and a man who uses it to build an empire, between the person who crumbles under pressure and the one who stands firm, unshaken, unbreakable. Now, this isn't just a story about missiles or politics or power plays. It's a story about leadership. Leadership isn't about titles or trophies. It's about the courage to face your battles, to take your gifts, no matter how strange or scary they may seem, and turn them into victories. So, what's your missile? What's the gift life has handed you that you're still afraid to use? Is it a talent, a dream, a setback that feels like failure but could be your greatest lesson? Listen closely, because this is where the suspense turns into revelation. The missile you've been given is your secret weapon. It's your chance to rewrite your destiny, to rise above every doubt, every fear, every limitation. The moment you stop fearing the missile, the moment you stop doubting your power to use it, is the moment you become unstoppable. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a deep breath and look at your life, at your struggles, your setbacks, your missiles. And I want you to say, this is my gift. This is my power. I will use it. I will rise. I will win. Because the world is watching, ladies and gentlemen. They're waiting to see what you'll do. And I promise you this, the person who wins is not always the one with the biggest weapon or the loudest voice. It's the one with the strongest heart and the clearest vision. And that, my friends, is the power you hold inside you right now. Not just to survive, but to thrive. Not just to fight, but to conquer. Not just to dream, but to live those dreams out loud. So take your missile, take your gift, and fire it into the world with everything you've got, because your story isn't over yet. In fact, it's just getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, as you hold that missile in your hands, remember it's not the missile itself that has power, but what you choose to do with it. Because life will throw unexpected gifts and challenges your way, not to break you, but to build you into something greater than you ever imagined. And the real suspense lies in the decision you make when faced with that power. Will you let fear control you, or will you rise up and become the leader of your own destiny by transforming every obstacle into an opportunity, every doubt into determination, every setback into a setup for a comeback? Because the greatest leaders in history didn't wait for perfect conditions or easy victories. They took what they had, even if it was just a metaphorical missile, and turned it into a legacy that inspired millions. And that is exactly what you are called to do right now, to take your unique challenges, your gifts disguised as trials, and turn them into the fuel that propels you forward beyond the limits others set for you, to realize that your power is not in the weapons or the gifts you receive, but in the strength of your heart, the clarity of your vision, and the courage to act boldly even when the outcome is uncertain. So don't wait for the perfect moment or for the world to approve your power, because that moment is now, and that power is already inside you, waiting to be unleashed. And as you stand on the edge of your own battlefield, remember that the true victory is not measured by what you destroy, but by what you create. The new life, the new legacy, the new you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the greatest suspense of all, because the story is still unwritten and the pen is in your hands. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you realize that life's missiles, those unexpected challenges, gifts, and trials are not meant to destroy you, but to awaken the warrior within, is the moment you step into your true power, because it is in the darkest nights that the brightest stars are born. And when you embrace the uncertainty, the fear, and the pressure, you begin to understand that every setback, and just like Donald Trump holding that missile from Turkey had a choice to use it as a symbol of strength or a burden of fear, you too stand at the crossroads where your decision will define your future. So rise with courage, act with faith, and remember that the weapon life gives you is only as strong as the hand that wields it. And when you choose to wield it with wisdom, resilience, and an unbreakable spirit, you become unstoppable, because true leaders don't wait for permission or perfect conditions. They create their own path. They turn trials into triumphs, and they write their own legacy. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is your call to action, your moment to seize the power within and launch your dreams, your vision, and your purpose into the world with relentless passion and unwavering belief, because the suspense is over and the time to act is now. Before you step into the battlefield with the missile life has handed you, understand this. The greatest battles aren't fought with weapons or armies, but within your mind and heart, because the real war is against your fears, your doubts, and your limits. And when you conquer these invisible enemies, the physical obstacles become mere stepping stones. And just like Donald Trump had to decide whether to use or discard the missile, you too must decide whether to let your challenges define you or to use them as the fuel to propel yourself into greatness. For the suspense of your life story hinges on this very moment of choice. And it's not about how hard the battle is, but how fiercely you fight that determines your legacy. So take that missile, whatever it may be, a setback, a gift, or a challenge, and turn it into your greatest weapon, because within you lies a power stronger than any missile. A power born from resilience, vision, and unwavering courage. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the secret to winning the wars that matter most. Life will keep throwing missiles your way, unexpected challenges, doubts, and fears designed to test your resolve. But remember, it's not the missile that defines you, it's how you catch it, how you hold it, and how you decide to use it that shapes your destiny. And the suspense is not in the arrival of the challenge, but in your response to it, because every great story of success, of leadership, and of triumph is written by those who refuse to be broken, who turn setbacks into comebacks, who transform every obstacle into a stepping stone toward greatness. So when the world hands you a missile, don't run or hide. Stand tall, take aim, and fire with everything you've got, knowing that inside you lies the power to change not just your own story, but to inspire millions, to lead with strength and vision, to create a legacy that outlasts every trial. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the true meaning of power, courage, and victory.